Today, we're diving into the unpredictable world of Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy Season 1 recap. High school student Makoto Misumi, an average boy in every aspect.
I'm Makoto Misumi, and my life is a joke.
But his parents are from a fantasy world and have eloped to Earth for various reasons. Part due to a contract agreed upon by a goddess, Makoto is to be sent to the world of Elysian to serve as the hero. Unfortunately, it is not the usual case that Makoto always imagined. The goddess has a vain beauty preference and deems Makoto to be ugly, revoking his hero title, forbidding him to interact with other humans, and getting thrown off the edge of the world. Did he survive? And can he go back to his world? Let's find out in this recap of Season 1. Misumi Makoto is transported to another world to become a hero by god Tsukiyomi. The other world is infested with non-humans and monsters, goddess giving him only the ability to understand all languages. After wandering the wasteland for 3 days, Makoto saves a young orc named Emma from a two-headed wolf monster which he kills, discovering how strong he now is. Emma takes him to her village where Makoto begins to learn magic. Makoto decides to destroy Shen, a giant dragon who uses the fog to create illusions. Shen traps Makoto inside an illusion of a happy memory, but after examining his other memories, becomes intrigued by his memories of Japan. Makoto breaks the illusion and is surprised when Shen offers to make a contract with him to become his familiar. Makoto agrees, and they form a contract with Shen, transforming into a busty samurai girl, looking forward to what Makoto will do in the future. Makoto discovers Shen is obsessed with his memories of historical dramas and samurai. She teleports Makoto to the alternate dimension where she normally lives, but finds it now resembles Japan's countryside. Makoto informs the orcs that he defeated Shen, who offers for the orcs to live in her dimension, which is now ideal for farming. Makoto decides to discover more about his parents, whom Tsukuyomi told him were born in this world before moving to Japan. Shen appears with an injured dwarf, explaining their dimension is being attacked by a spider called Black Disaster that is cursed with eternal hunger and consumes everything. Makoto manages to completely exterminate the spider, but collapses as the spider regenerates. Shen tries to intervene, but the spider suddenly declares the extreme violence has satisfied its hunger, and she is determined to stay with Makoto forever. Shen suggests the spider to form a contract with Makoto to gain a human form and becoming his servant. Makoto awakens and finds he has a new, similarly busty female servant who makes him slightly nervous. The dwarf is revealed to be Baron, an elder dwarf capable of crafting artifacts. Shen and the spider request personal names, so Makoto renames Shen as Tomoe and names the spider as Mio. Makoto discovers while he is unconscious, Tomoe and Mio go recruiting, and his village is now populated by orcs, dwarves, mist lizards, and alki spiders. Makoto returns to the normal world and finds a human village, but they attack him. Tomoe explains Makoto's magical aura is so strong, the humans probably mistook him for a demon lord. Makoto spends months learning the human language and has the dwarves craft items to suppress his aura. Entering the human village posing as merchants, they register at an adventurer's guild. Tomoe and Mio break records by being 4 times as powerful as the next strongest adventurer, while Makoto, due to his suppressed aura, ranks level 1, weaker than a child. Makoto notices the price of commodities is unusually high, and that people have begun following them. Tomoe prepares to foil a night attack on their wagon. While buying food, Makoto and Mio are approached by a young girl. The girl, Rinon, reveals her sister, Toa, disappeared. Tomoe confronts the thieves, but kills 3 by accident and captures a 4th. Rinon sketches Toa, and Makoto determines from the thief's memories their group is holding her captive, and sends Mio and Tomoe to retrieve her. Makoto is concerned Toa resembles a girl named Hasegawa he knew in Japan. Mio and Tomoe locate Toa and her captor, Mills Ace, the current strongest adventurer. Rinon sneaks away and tells the thieves Makoto's wagon is full of expensive fruit, but he has already sold it. The thieves insist she steals Makoto's gold to pay Toa's debts. Rinan decides she can't steal from Makoto after he is so nice to her. Mio and Tomo defeat Mills and his thieves, and destroy part of the city, competing to see who defeated the most enemies.
Women.
Rinon reunites with Toa, who is identical to Hasegawa apart from her hair color. Tomoe alters everyone's memories so the world believes a monster horde destroyed Zetsuya. As Zetsuya's guild was destroyed, Makoto must re-register in Siege, the next closest town. Makoto tricks Tomoe into training alone in the wilderness, while he travels to Tsieg with other adventurers. Mio and Makoto kill many monsters that Toa harvests for valuable parts, including rare ruby eye ants. Re-registering in Tsieg, Makoto celebrates with adventurers Louisa the Elven Archer, Hazal the Human Alchemist, and Ranina the Dwarf Priest Knight. Makoto decides to sell the ruby eyes to the Rembrandt Trading Company, but is warned by Toa that Rembrandt has a bad reputation. Returning to his village, Emma reports on their progress. The Alka are settling in the mountains, the dwarves have begun constructing buildings, and the mist lizards clearing farmland, while the orcs have begun constructing Makoto a castle. Makoto is given a merchant outfit by the dwarves to further suppress his aura, but his magic is too powerful and destroys the outfit. Makoto discovers magical ingredients grown in the Demiplane are more potent than normal. Makoto takes the ruby eyes to Rembrandt and finds the manager difficult to deal with. The manager, Patrick Rembrandt, is dismissive until he sees the ruby eyes and apologizes. He happily reveals the eyes make ambrosia, a cure for his wife and daughters cursed by a witch. Makoto goes to register as a merchant and passes the written exam easily, as it is basic middle school mathematics. The second test is to gather 4 dangerous items, but he takes advantage of a rule, saying he can substitute items of equal value and substitute the ruby ants. Makoto returns to the Demiplane, where he plans to set up a hidden portal to trick traveling merchants into thinking the Demiplane is a hidden city, trade for Demiplane items, and then return home, creating a demand for Demiplane products.
This is business! This is business!
Tomoe and Mio are confused when Makoto chooses to sleep alone, rather than pick one of them to have sex, and decide they must come up with a seduction plan. Hazal agrees to Makoto's request to help brew the ambrosia. An adventurer watches Makoto and decides to gather as many adventurers as he can to stop whatever Patrick is doing with Makoto. Patrick secretly has the witch doctor who cursed his family dead. Hazal brews the ambrosia. Makoto is able to restrain Patrick's wife, Lisa, who has become a monster, and Patrick successfully administers the ambrosia. Using this method, they also cure Patrick's daughters. Makoto returns to Tomoe and Mio, but they are attacked by the adventurer, Lime Latte, and his numerous allies. After defeating all 200 enemies, Lime claims he only wanted a sleeping curse put on Lisa and her daughters as revenge for Patrick, preventing adventurers who displeased him from finding further work, many of whom later died on quests too dangerous for them to handle, and has no idea why the witch doctor actually cursed them into monsters. Lime apologizes to Patrick, who decides to let him live, and Lime retires from adventuring. Tomoe, who had seen in Lime's memories that he sends his wages to the orphanage where he grew up, gives him a katana forged by the dwarves and hires him to spy for her. Meanwhile, despite his gratitude to Makoto, Patrick considers what to do about Makoto starting a competing trading company. Returning to the Demiplane, Emma informs Makoto yet another problem has arisen. The warriors in Makoto's village are depressed after training, and Makoto learns it is his fault, as during training he overwhelms them so completely they lose their self-confidence. He also realizes the various species don't train with each other, so he arranges weekly competitions, inspiring them to strengthen themselves and each other. Makoto, Mio, and Tomoe re-register as adventurers and are immediately asked to train an adventurer to replace Lime Latte. Makoto chooses Toa and asks Tomo to train her, though Tomoe is troubled as she knows Toa resembles the girl from Japan and worries Makoto misses his former life. Tomoe puts Toa and her team through a brutal training regime, and then tests their new abilities by ordering them to defeat a nest of 100 ape monsters, proving them the strongest adventuring team. Makoto decides to collect ambrosia flowers and also decides to rent shop space from Patrick, who realizes Makoto wants to rent as buying would bring him to the attention of the Tsage Kingdom, who would ask him to spy on Patrick, which Makoto does not want to do. Patrick agrees to arrange a shop space for Makoto in a neutral city not allied to any kingdom. The village throws a party to celebrate Makoto opening his trading company. Akina reveals they have located ambrosia flowers in the outside world, but decided not to harvest any as they are protected by elves. Mio and Tomoe sense Makoto dying repeatedly during archery training. Tomoe deduces when Makoto clears his mind to focus on the target, he unintentionally merges with the environment and dies for a split second, which feels to Tomoe and Mio like he has committed suicide. This has caused his mana to increase to God's level. If it continues, the goddess who banished him to the wasteland will see him as a rival and try to kill him. Makoto returns to the human world and is approached by a prostitute, so he is dragged away by the furious Mio and Tomoe. They declare they are tired of waiting for him to grow up and will have sex with him immediately. Makoto panics and flees through a portal. The dwarves forge more powerful mana-suppressing equipment. Mio apologizes for her and Tomoe's behavior, so Makoto invites her to help negotiate with the elves. Other adventurers also appear to steal the flower, one of whom is the prostitute, and cause the elves to attack immediately. Makoto teleports the adventurers to the Demiplane and then makes peace with the elves, Aqua and Eris. Makoto meets Nilgistori and other elders. Nilgistori's son, Adono, is angry the barrier protecting the forest is weakening. Makoto meets Aqua and Eris's master, Mondo, a powerful warrior. Mio suspects Mondo is possessed and overhears a telepathic conversation between Adono and an unknown person about demons. Later, a spirit frees itself from Mondo's body and drains the life from Adono, killing him for associating with demons. Makoto identifies it as a lich and captures it. Tomoe reveals she was the dragon who created the barrier at Nilgistori's request many years ago. The lich explains he accidentally became a lich while trying to become a grant, a human that can freely travel between alternate worlds like a god. Tomoe reveals that grants aren't humans who could travel. They are normal humans who accidentally traveled and so earned the title of grant. Realizing he has wasted his entire life on an impossible goal, the lich happily accepts Tomoe's suggestion of forming a contract with Makoto and teaching him about magic. Forming a contract returns the lich from a skeleton to a young and attractive man. A magical explosion occurs in the village, causing Tomo to collapse. Makoto and Lich are able to heal the injured. Makoto realizes the explosion forced open the portal to the outside world. Examining the memory fragments of the prostitute, Makoto sees that she and her comrades attempted to steal magical items, and when guards intervened, one of the rings full of Makoto's magic exploded, killing Tomoe's child fragment and an orc. Makoto follows and coldly kills the prostitute in revenge. After the funerals, Makoto learns from Lich, now named Shiki, that he is able to see the prostitute's memories because memory viewing is one of Tomoe's powers, a sign they trust each other implicitly. Makoto orders walls constructed so that any adventurers who visit the Demiplane to trade are kept separate from the village itself. Makoto visits Patrick, who has arranged Makoto's shop space in the neutral town of Rotsgard Academy. Makoto hopes to visit the academy to learn more about the world, the goddess, and humans. As he may be gone for a considerable time, he takes only Shiki with him and gives Mio and Tomoe some more memories as gifts. As they prepare to teleport, the goddess suddenly locates Makoto and tampers with his teleportation, sending him to a distant battlefield where two demon warriors attack and sever two of his fingers. The two reveal they are Sophia Bulger and Mitsurugi, the strongest adventurer in the world and the superior dragon she became famous for supposedly killing. They explain they have joined the demon army to destroy humanity. Makoto removes all his mana-suppressing equipment, overwhelming Mitsurugi with his magic and shattering Sophia's legendary sword. Makoto manages to teleport away, leaving Mitsurugi and Sophia alive, who swears revenge. Patrick receives word of the army's destruction from a powerful mage, but doesn't realize it is Makoto. Shiki believes the goddess used Makoto to destroy the army and maybe watch them. Tomoe reveals she created another fragment named Komoe, using Makoto's mana from a discarded ring, and Mio is furious when Komoe calls Makoto Papa. Makoto finally opens a shop, which is an instant success, and learns after he teleported away that the demon and human armies did massive damage to each other, and that 2 other goddess-summoned heroes took part in the battle. The village throws a feast to celebrate Makoto's shop, and he decides his future looks bright. But the feast is interrupted by another fight between Mio and Tomoe, causing Makoto to change his mind that his immediate future is quite annoying. With this, the Season 1 comes to an end with Makoto and Lich going to join the magic school. Season 2, which just started airing, can be one of the good sequels this season, and if you're looking to watch some new anime, then check out my previous video. Thanks for watching.